Alright, welcome back from lunch, Pokemon fans. We are getting into round 5. In this match, we're going to have McLaughlin versus Wang.
Really cool.
Yeah, I'm going to let Drew talk about this one, boys.
I really am looking forward to this. Vinjay, somebody who runs some far out techs, I would say. We've seen him run like Terrakion, Lunadon, Raynala before, and now we see him actually running Empoleon once again, that tried and true signature Pokemon of his with Gengar, Rayquaza, Ho-Oh, and Incineroar and Tapu Koko. And once again, core that I feel like I've kind of felt was dead coming into this tournament, but another Xerneas Lunala combo.
Yeah, you know that SpaceX or whatever it is, everyone calls it Zernala. I like SpaceX, so that's what I'm going to call it.
But no Mega Gallade this time.
Yeah.
A little bit more of a traditional Mega pick this time with Kangaskhan. Still Smeargle, however, other partners are different, of course, Kartana and Tapu Lele here. Really two interesting teams. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Lunala Xerneas with Kartana before. And on the other side, Empoleon. Like,
right.
And Ho-Oh too.
Yeah, so, actually, like, Ho-Oh just honestly looks really good in matches that don't have a Kyogre.
Right,
and I think this match does not have a Kyogre, so like Ho-Oh's looking like a solid pick.
Right.
You know, its massive special defense is gonna be really good against Lunala, against Xerneas, against Tapu Lele, and then its typing will help it out against that Kartana. You know, like it seems to be in a good position.
I think another cool pick on Vinjay's team is that Gengar. Oftentimes really good versus Xerneas and Lunala, and Smeargle carries something like Clump potentially, so really potential disruptive Pokemon here for Vinjay, so not surprised to see it led here whatsoever.
Yeah, so, you know, Ian going with sort of a throwback to 2016. I haven't seen this monkey lead so much, you know, like, so-called because it's so easy, even a monkey could pilot it. But, you know, it's threatening, right? Like, Smeargle Xerneas, because Smeargle has so many options to help that Xerneas set up and help keep it, you know, at high HP after setting up. You know, it's a really threatening lead. But Vinjay definitely going with, you know, some good Pokemon to really help him fight back against that.
Yeah, Smeargle potentially being able to shut down here by fake out Tapu Lele coming in on Ian's side to prevent that. Have to see if Vinjay falls for that or not. We actually see Incineroar switching, so not taking that bait. Gonna swap out for the Ho-Oh.
Yeah.
So Ho-Oh comes in. Great spot, honestly. Smeargle Xerneas, not really a whole lot of damage threat there. We actually see a Sludge Bomb from Vinjay onto Ian's Tapu Lele, so big damage there.
Yeah, so that's a lot of damage onto that Tapu Lele for, you know, almost no punish as a Spore goes into this Ho-Oh. Another thing that I think is interesting is, you know, not seeing this Gengar Mega Evolve. Obviously, there is a Rayquaza on Vinjay's team, but...
Right, Sash Gengar is a thing.
You know.
It's been seen periodically. John Paul Chillin actually ran Ghost DMC Gengar at the World Championship, so it doesn't always have to be Mega on teams, and so seeing him not Mega Evolve here maybe doesn't signal it is Sash or another item, but let's just say he goes first before the Tapu Lele.
So, either that Tapu Lele is not Scarfed, or the Gengar is too. It's hard to say. So I do like that, Spore into the Ho-Oh slot. Like, yeah, Ho-Oh's staying asleep, but, and there we do see the Sash. So.
Alright, so, really not how I was expecting that turn to go down, honestly.
Right, like...
Especially with Tapu Lele being the slowest Pokemon in the field right there, definitely wasn't expecting that to come out. Psyshock in the Gengar, not a surprise there, but Smeargle double sporing the Ho-Oh, a little bit of a surprise.
So, I mean, I don't mind that play so much, just because, like, you know, a sleeping Pokemon that hasn't taken any turns, and especially, you know, Ian thinking, okay, well, if I'm KOing this Gengar with Psyshock, you know, not expecting it to be Focus Sash, potentially, you know, like, how can I punish, you know, if my opponent tries to switch out this, you know,
and here's the thing,
so that's
now
fair.
there's a problem with the Smeargle. This isn't +4 evasion. It's got double evasion boost. We see Sludge Bomb actually connects
hits
onto
through
Smeargle.
the evasion boost, so no worries there. and Xerneas goes for a Geomancy, so Xerneas gets boosted up, but how well is that going to help it deal with this Ho-Oh? You know, like Ho-Oh is still going to resist its attacks and has such high special defense that Xerneas is going to have trouble busting through it.
Right, but you gotta think with what's in the back, potential for there to be a Lunala or a Kangaskhan. There's definitely the tools on Ian's side to get through this. While it's unfortunate that he's had to sacrifice 2 Pokemon just to get 1 Geomancy off and put a Ho to sleep and just break a Gengar Focus Sash, which is good information to have. Now he's in a much better spot to actually start doing some damage. So while those first 2 turns looked really rough for him, and this Gengar just kind of ran rampant over him, Ian's in a great spot to start making some headway on his own right.
For sure. You know, now he's got both of his restricted Pokemon on the field. You know, they're both at full HP. Xerneas is Geomancy. Like, now's the time to be getting things done.
Right.
So Xerneas does go for a Dazzling Gleam into the Protect on Gengar, and it's not going to do too much to this Ho-Oh.
Yep. Then I was just about to mention that. We see this passive nature of the team, and Ian sacrificing so much to get this boost that I was really wondering if that Psych Up would be there.
Yeah, so seeing that Psych Up come out, now this is, you know...
Now it's a really big punishment, and this Lunala, we thought it was going to be Xerneas at first. This Lunala is a massive threat. You gave it Psychic Terrain, so that Psyshock
so now Psyshock is
damage.
going to, you know, like I've been saying so many times about Ho-Oh's special defense stat, if you're hitting it on the physical side, like, good luck, you know? So we do see Ho-Oh going for Protect here.
And we do just see that never-ending nightmare. Now it's actually going to be the game all the more passive, and just Ian being able to capitalize on with that big Psycho.
Exactly.
Now just allowing him to just kind of just run through this game. Ben, like, he thought he was going to have all the time, and he was like, okay, this is fine. I got my 2 KOs. My Ho is just going to slowly
whittle it
game
down. But that's not the case, especially once Psych Up was revealed on the Lunala. You know, this is kind of like that team that Jeremy and Ashton were using.
Exactly.
You know, kind of popularized in early in the 2019 season. But you know, showing that it's still a very threatening restricted duo.
Incineroar coming in here, pretty good to have, threatening a lot of damage off onto that Lunala, depending on what kind of dark move it carries, if it carries one at all. But still, trying to break through this is going to be really tough for
sure.
Vignay.
So we do see the Psyshock coming out. That's going to deal a lot of damage to this Ho-Oh, and it does pick up the KO. So, you know, now, like, Vignay was in he was in a good spot for Pokemon to 2, and you're seeing the power of Xerneas and Psych Up, you know, combined with that, like, so, you know, Ian has turned this match around, and, you know, it's not like he was behind for most of that. He was kind of deliberately getting himself in a position to get his Xerneas set up. You know, that was his end goal. Exactly.
It was just a matter of, that's just something you don't really expect. Psych Up is something that has really fallen off the wayside.
Right. We saw
ironically, it won the Memphis Regionals last year. But
this time last year.
And now it's back. It was something that it really hasn't been around for Ultra Series whatsoever. It really just dropped off after Moon format. So that's something where if you're him, if you're Vignay, it's like you're going through the game and that's just the last thing you really expect. Like, you see other Lunala. Like
Lunala has so many other things that it could be doing. You know, you see them setting Tailwind for the team. You see them setting Trick Room for the team. You see them, you know, Psyshock and Moongeist Beam commonly, you know, normally having Protect or something. Like you said, Drew, yeah, Psych Up has kind of fallen off a little bit. And so, Game 1 especially, you don't prep for that, and Ian was really able to punish.
And I think there's
the fact that
a couple of interesting parts to take away from Ian's side of the game there, was that Bulky Lele. Living the Sludge Bomb there was actually crucial, because it gave him an extra turn, put things to sleep, forced Gengar, get that Sash out. If that Sash wasn't there, then maybe that game's completely different, and the Gengar is able to win.
Exactly.
So that bulk just buying Ian more time, that's really what he needed that last game, was the time to get that Psycho combination set up.
Here we see Ian going with the Kartana and Smeargle lead versus Vignay going for Tapu Koko and Gengar. You know, still seeing that Gengar was a valuable member of the team last game.
Right, I still think Gengar is a correct mod to bring in this
Gengar does
matchup.
a lot here.
Yeah.
You know, it's able to hit Xerneas, Tapu Lele, and Lunala for super
Right.
effective damage.
I think
you know,
one thing
it's
that I
doing
really,
a lot.
one thing I really want to see from this Gengar, because we saw the Sludge Bomb, how much work that did. I really want to see if it has Taunt, because if it has Taunt, then it can just be so much more disruptive in this matchup than it previously was. We do see Shadow Ball come off onto Kartana. Good call from Binjay there, not falling for the potential follow me
Right.
there. We actually see Z. We see the Fly Indian Z from
Yeah,
Kartana.
so
I'm going to assume this
Tailwind
has got to be
coming
a
out.
Z Tailwind.
That's gonna be huge. So one thing we haven't mentioned though, I do like Binjay going for this Tapu Koko here, you know, because that's a good way to make Smeargle less effective. When you
Right.
take away its ability to put things to sleep, now it's basically a fake out follow me bot, which
Right.
is much easier to deal with. However, we do see this Kartana getting Tailwind up. You know, now it's going to be very threatening, and it has that boosted critical hit chance on top of Leaf Blade, which has a high critical hit chance.
Right.
You know, you're looking at 50% chance to crit every time you attack. The one saving grace here, of course, is that Kartana is at, you know, kind of low HP.
But this was something that I kind of wanted to mention. You look at Binjay's restricteds, and it's Rayquaza and Ho-Oh. Name two better Kartana answers. They don't care anything about that Leaf Blade. However,
That's true.
if you want to switch that in, which he does, he gets away with it this turn. But there still was that potential for Spore to just get fired off in one of those slots. However, goes for the Follow Me instead. Big curse body there from Gengar.
Yeah, that is a huge curse body, and the taunt, like you were mentioning, does come out into the Smeargle, and that's just going to neuter this Smeargle and really put Binjay in a position where now he can kind of, you know, punish everything that
Right.
Ian's trying to do. Smeargle probably doesn't want to stick around. Likely its only attacking move is Fake Out, so that's either free damage on a switch, or you can safely ignore Smeargle this turn.
Right. So really surprised that that's where the taunt came out, though. I'm surprised we didn't see that earlier, especially with the spores that were getting fired around in game
Right.
1. But I guess now it's still a good spot here. Like, allows him to get back into this game, no threat of spore into the Rayquaza. And now if he wants to get gutsy, maybe he does Shadow Ball as Sunal. So it just gives him a lot more options than what he previously had.
Yeah, so Ian actually going for the double switch here. I like the position he put both of those Pokemon in too, right? Like, you're not likely to take a Ghost move into the Smeargle slot as that was a normal type Pokemon, and you're not likely to see the Poison type move into the Xerneas slot as that was a Steel type, you know, so he definitely chose correctly for where to put
Exactly.
the Pokemon he was switching here.
However, this Extreme Speed coming out from the Rayquaza does a lot of damage.
Yeah, so
Life Orb.
that is a Life Orb Ray, and Sludge Bomb coming out from Gengar into the Lunala.
So great switch from Ian. Like
Yeah.
you were saying, gets that spot on. Now there's kind of the issue of we saw that Psycho combo. Xerneas can honestly just go on the offensive right now if it really wants to. Like Dazzling Gleam will pick up a KO
Right.
on both Pokemon. It could be something where you can go for that. You can go for Dazzling Gleam here and actually switch Smeargle back in, and
now
then
you've
you have
got
Fake
that
Out, Follow Me,
Smeargle
Geomancy.
Xerneas.
So a lot of options now from Ian. That turn had a lot of potential to go wrong.
Right.
If Binjay calls that differently, but really good spot now and a lot of options for him going forward. And if
Exactly.
you're Binjay, really tough pin here. Xerneas being out with speed control is probably the worst thing you wanted to see. So, and especially now that it's out next to the Smeargle, just going to
Exactly.
be really difficult to deal with. But
So
we do
Ian actually going, not going on the offensive, but going for the Geomancy boost, which I don't mind, you know, in front of a Gengar, get the boost before it can attack you while you've got Tailwind, and Smeargle here is going to help out. We'll see if Binjay went for an attacks into the Xerneas, or if he went, you know, and so he does go for the
Does
Sludge
go out
Bomb
for the
into the Xerneas.
Crit.
Wow.
Big critical hit there.
Yeah, that's
However,
a
I don't
huge
think that's
critical
going to
hit.
really... It matters because it gets the KO.
Right.
I think if you're definitely going after that slot, you're definitely doubling it. Like,
Right. I definitely agree. Like, he's likely had a double target into that slot, so it's probably not a big deal. Another really cool takeaway here is that Gengar moved before the Rayquaza, even though Rayquaza was Mega Evolved and should be faster. So I do like the way, you know, Binjay probably deliberately trained his Pokemon that way Gengar would be faster.
Right, especially when you look at these redirection scenarios where sometimes like, alright, I want this hit to come off, and then
I
you want the
this
stronger.
first
Then you
before-
want the stronger hit from Rayquaza. So something like that does make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and so now, with Shadow Shield broken, Tailwind up, and Jay's in a great position to clean up the game. You know, he can KO this Smeargle with a extreme speed, and then be able to hit that Lunala with the Shadow Ball. It's a really good position, and we do see Spiky Shield coming out, so it is going to get a little bit of chip if the extreme speed does. Yeah, the extreme speed does go into the Smeargle. You know, Ian trying to take a little bit more time from this game to plan how he's going to get into Game 3.
Right. I agree with that exactly. Writing's kind of on the wall. There's really no way for. Hold on. Had to hold my breath there for a
Depending
second.
on the Moody boost, of course.
Didn't want to talk an evasion boost into being, but yeah, no
yeah,
evasion.
so that double protect again was a chance for Ian to get those boosts that he needed.
Right, we just see the forfeit there from Ian. So realizing game is lost after losing that Xerneas.
Right.
Not a whole lot of damage output left that he had on his side. So Game 3 here, I think that Gengar really, like, we knew it was a threat from Game 1, but how it played that Game 2, if you're Ian, you have to be much more worried about that.
And
now.
that taunt just being really, really effective for Binjay because it gave him the opportunity to force that Smeargle out, you know, like, which ultimately burnt some of those tailwind turns that Ian was trying to take advantage of, which gave Binjay a chance to claw back from that.
Right. And then, of course, we talked about how Binjay was in some really tough spots as Xerneas to get out and speed, like, with the tailwind up, and how that was the last thing he wanted to see, but he was willing to make the pull on that Xerneas. Realized, okay, he just kind of felt like he had to go for it, and he got it right. And because he was willing to play aggressively, was able to bring that game back in his favor for what looked to be a really bad deficit. So it should be a really good Game 3. But if you're Ian here, that Gengar is just a pain in your side.
Yeah,
you have to be able to find a way to just deal with that correctly. So maybe that's the Kangaskhan on your side, or maybe you just go back to the Game 1 thing that won.
Yeah, so both players actually sticking with the lead that helped them win a game.
Exactly.
So I definitely like this matchup a lot more in Binjay's favor than I did the matchup when Ian led with this in Game 1.
And I think another, I specifically like this for Binjay because on this team, you gotta think Tapu Koko might be carrying like Skydrop essentially, so like you can Skydrop Smeargle and then you taunt the Xerneas.
Right.
There's a lot more options for this lead with Binjay than what he previously had.
Exactly. So we do see the Follow Me coming out from Smeargle, and we do see the Skydrop exactly like you were saying. And so that's going to allow this Gengar to ignore the Follow Me and just target into the Xerneas. However, we don't see a taunt. We do see a Sludge Bomb, which actually deals decent damage, but does allow Xerneas to get boosted.
See, I think taunt there would have been fine. Taunt would have been great. However, that damage is also fine. Like, you get that big chunk of damage off. You get a poison, game's probably just over there because there's no Psych Up anymore. However, even though you don't get it there, that's extreme speed range for Rayquaza.
Exactly. With that Life Orb Rayquaza, extreme speed can pick that up. So as long as Ian can prevent the Psych Up, you know, that's good damage to have down on that.
Yeah, that is the big thing
here,
though, because you have to assume you're gonna get a Skydrop on the Smeargle. Xerneas is probably still gonna. You don't know what Xerneas is gonna do. That is really kind of the big determinant here. Like, is it gonna go for a Dazzling Gleam and hopes of Smeargle getting KO'd? You bring Lunala back in and then get a Psych Up off. But we actually do see a Protect, so not want to take a Sludge Bomb. Binjay goes for a taunt here on the Skydrop.
Yeah, if he goes for a taunt into the Smeargle, that puts him in a really strong position. So we do see Sludge Bomb connecting with the Protect. As Spore comes out from Smeargle, however, due to electric terrain, no worries.
Yeah, so probably expecting a Ho-Oh switch in there. Makes sense. You're up there. Can't really do anything because we've seen Fake Out, Follow Me. You can't use those moves, so why not go for that read? Like, if he somehow gets that, then that's a really great stop. However, we could just be seeing a repeat of turn 1 here. I don't know if this Tapu Koko can live a Moonblast at +2.
Yeah, so if this is an Assault Vest Tapu Koko, you know, it could be in a good spot to do that.
But I guess we're gonna
find out. And it does indeed survive. So this is just a really big turn for Binjay. You know, getting that Skydrop off onto the Smeargle, and also getting that Xerneas off the field.
Right.
So yeah, Xerneas got boosted with Geomancy, got some damage off on Tapu Koko, but did not manage to KO it You know, and now that Xerneas is gone, so that is one big threat. And also, Binjay no longer has to worry about the threat of Psycho.
Right. Tapu Lele coming in here is big for Ian. That Spore is now live from Smeargle. However, kind of free to just KO it this turn with the
Exactly. It
combination
can't
of Sludge
protect.
Bomb.
You know, Skydrop will deal decent damage to it, and then Sludge Bomb can pick it up.
But we see a Zimu going first. I mean, it is that ally switch.
Ally switch.
So, Tapu Lele.
And that's
going
to give it
slot.
plus
However,
2 speed.
Getting that speed boost still has to worry about a Sludge Bomb, though, coming into that slot. So, while it's great, Smeargle probably will be able to get off the Spore now. Tapu Lele is still going to be taking a good bit of damage. That Skydrop also did a lot.
I mean, unless the Sludge Bomb was going into the Tapu Lele,
and
we do see a poison
from the Gengar.
Oh, that is so unfortunate for Ian. It's gonna, you know, this Tapu Lele is gonna lose time that it could be abusing that plus 2 speed as it goes down to poison now.
Right.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Right. Just that's a tech where it's just like one where if you're Ian, your back's against the wall, you kind of have to go.
Right.
For that.
He had to make the big gutsy play. It's hard to say if that was make or break.
Right. But now Lunala comes out on the field, and being at 2-4, Smeargle's at such low health it'll go down to basically anything. Lunala's gonna have to carry literally all of the weight here for Ian. It's not totally undoable per se, especially because Smeargle is a thing. We saw him go for a double protect last turn. Maybe he goes for that again. But we actually see Electro Web.
We see the Smeargle avoid the Electro Web. That's going to be big because it does keep Smeargle around, you know, for an extra turn. It's going to be able to put the Tapu Koko to sleep, continue putting things to sleep. As the Psyshock does come out from the Lunala, picks up the KO on that Tapu Koko.
Right. I like that. I think that plays fine there from Ian. That's step one in his process of trying to get back in this game. You need to get a little bit lucky from here on out.
Right.
That Tapu Koko Gengar lead just did so much work early on. Binjay kind of having literally all of the techs to deal with that lead on his own side. And really in a rough spot now, however, maybe Smeargle does its thing here and we see like Lunala be able to take this game on its own. However, that's going to be a lot of luck.
It's going to be a big ask, but you know, when you're in a Game 3 situation, you got to do it, you know. So we do see Ray go for Protect here, as Smeargle does not, going for a Spore into the Rayquaza slot, as Psyshock connects with the Gengar. That's going to bring it down to its Focus Sash. So the big thing here is, does Gengar stay asleep, and does Curse Body activate?
Right. I mean, there's also still some mind games here. You have to think of, is the Smeargle going to protect this turn?
Right. If this,
like, am I going to double Lunala? Like, you still have to think, because if the Smeargle protects and Rayquaza goes after the Smeargle, and suddenly here comes this menacing Moonraze Maelstrom, Rayquaza goes down. Not looking to be in the best spot, especially now that Gengar's down to its Sash, no longer has that added bulk.
Right.
So,
and
really,
then,
like,
the other question is, you know, at what point does this Smeargle have enough boost that it's worthwhile to go for a Psych Up into your own Smeargle? Like,
it'd definitely be a very gutsy call. We see Gengar does wake up, and
Smeargle dodges the Sludge Bomb as Dragon Ascent goes into the Protect. That's another good turn for Ian. You know, it's getting done what he needs to get done, as he does get a Spore off into the
that Rayquaza,
which is really big.
Another booty boost. Speed.
Oh, a speed. Oh, that is so...
So now Gengar is at threat of being put to sleep here.
That is
Smeargle's
dangerous for Ian. Like,
yeah, I would like to apologize to anybody watching who's having 2016 PTSD.
I would not apologize. Figure out a way to KO Smeargle faster before it gets so many boosts. If you give it that many options, RNG's going to bite you eventually.
But now, this is kind of the thing. He wasn't able to KO it like you said, and now Smeargle's running rampant.
Yeah.
It's doing what it does best.
Now that Smeargle, you know, has that speed boost, it's going to be able to put that Gengar to sleep, prevent it from going down. Ray switching out, so not burning a turn of sleep here.
Nice to see Ho-Oh is the last mon for Binjay, so No Incineroar. If he had Incineroar, would have been a great bring there. But we see Smeargle's Spore does
so
connect
you see the
on
Spore
the Gengar.
into the Gengar. I don't know. I would love to see the Psych Up off of the...
But we do see Psyshock.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's gonna do a lot of damage to Ho-Host.
Yeah, because that's a stab move in terrain.
Easy to hit KO. However,
good
terrain,
chunk of damage for sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Smeargle's Moody Boost is. Special attack, not any use whatsoever. Defense doesn't matter.
Special attack is of use because you got to remember Psych Up is available, and I say that as a legitimate option. Like, so with one important thing here is that now that terrain is over. Rayquaza does have the opportunity to, come in extreme speed into the Smeargle to try and pick up the KO despite its speed boost. Again, depending on the evasion boost and everything else, like, you're still rolling the dice, but that is an option that Binjay has.
Yeah,
so you see Smeargle go for the Spore into the Ho-Oh. If this Gengar wakes up...
Gengar's got to wake up here if I think Binjay wants a chance. And it stays
it doesn't.
asleep.
Yeah, so... that Gengar staying asleep there is huge, as Psyshock is going to connect
and finish off the Gengar
and knock out that Gengar. There's still Curse Body potentially.
I get it,
but nothing coming out there.
Defense and a speed drop, so good in that regard. Maybe this Rayquaza can come back in and outspeed the Smeargle. However, there's still a lot of mind games here. Like, there's the extreme speed potential in the Smeargle. Does the Smeargle protect it? If he's gonna protect you, call it and Dragon Ascent to Lunala. So that Shadow Shield being down, Adamant Life Orb Dragon Ascent, I'm assuming is probably gonna KO, if I had to guess, or if not, it's gonna be very close.
Well, Shadow Shield's still active, I believe.
No, it was broken by the Electro Web earlier.
So, this Rayquaza, though, it hasn't taken a sleep turn yet. It has been, because it switched out the turn after it was spored when it attacked into the Lunala's Protect. And so we do see Psyshock connecting
with the Ho-Oh.
And it does pick up the KO.
Very surprised that picked up the KO, honestly. Seeing how much
it did in terrain and now without terrain, that could be a roll or something. So no, we do see another speed drop. So Smeargle's back at neutral.
And it's all at the wrong time if you're Binjay.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too little, too late. The important thing here, though, is if this Ray wakes up, picks up the KO on Smeargle, it still has a chance to hit that, Life Orb Dragon Ascent
but it stays
asleep.
Smeargle does go for Follow Me, so if he would have woken up there, he probably could have potentially won the game still. But
yeah,
Smeargle,
as Moonguy's Beam comes into this Ray, will that be enough to pick up the KO? Like, we know it's not a bulky Ray.
It will be enough to 2-hit KO, however.
Yeah,
and even if it did over slightly less than half, the Life Orb recoil.
Exactly. Between the Life Orb recoil and the fact that this Ray needs to take 2 KOs to win the game, it's looking sealed up, but... if that was an exceptionally high roll and we see an exceptionally low roll, Binjay has nothing to gain by clicking forfeit at this point. He's got to go for it. So you do see the wake up into the Dragon Ascent.
Dragon Ascent will definitely just end the game.
Yeah, it does connect, but that's going to lower its defenses. So this next Moonguy's Beam will be able to connect, and based on the damage before and with drop defense, it should be more than enough to pick up the KO.
So, what looked like game over.
When Ian looked like his back was against the wall, and Smeargle found him a way out by getting those evasion boosts. But that's part of the threat of leaving a moody Pokemon on the field for so long. Over time, law of averages, they're eventually going to get a beneficial boost that's going to help you out.
Right. And just how that was set up too.
Right.
I think it was
because
it was a Z ally switch
to protect the Smeargle from getting KO'd.
And then the Smeargle rewarding Ian with this massive turnaround.
Exactly. So that is a great comeback by Ian.
No, it was lag. I thought so. We had some lag there. Was worried about a game freeze, but gonna be avoided at this point. No worries. But yeah, what looked like Benji played that so well early on.
Right. It's heartbreaking to see RNG like that be the deciding factor. But that's the game we play. It's an
Right.
imperfect game sometimes. Um, you know, and Ian definitely did everything right to push the advantage once he got it.
Exactly.
So he did not have a win gifted to him. He had to earn it just as much as anybody
Right.
else. By using the tools available to him.
Right. That just is a testament to just playing the game out. Like you're down in that position. It's just like most people will be inclined to click the forfeit button in that situation. But Ian, seeing his out to that win, just kind of a tactic that's hard to put faith in because of the reliance on RNG. But sometimes it just happens. And
Yep. All right,
in
guys,
that
don't
case,
go
it just
anywhere.
worked out. So
Ian is back here for an interview.
all right, guys, we are back here with your round 5 winner, Ian McLaughlin. Ian, that game 3 was nuts. How are you feeling after that?
Pretty pumped. My heart was racing the entire match. Thought it was over from turn 2 when I thought it was Coco would get KO'd by the Moonblast, but it didn't. And then I lost my Xerneas really early on. But I got the right Moody boost, avoided the right attack, and I just made the right calls from there on.
Gotta love Smeargle.
Yep.
I mean, I know that's a Pokemon you've used for what seems like a while now. So when constructing this team, we've seen a lot of Smeargle, Xerneas, Lunala pop up recently. What made you go back to this core and run this?
It all started out as just a regular Xerneas Groudon team. Started out as Kangaskhan, Xerneas, Smeargle, Groudon, standard 4 that I would usually run out of Xerneas Groudon team, especially in 2016. And then ended up putting the Cortana on because I've loved running that moveset and it just can control some matches. Lele was added on as an afterthought as well. And then after Worlds, I didn't do too well with Groudon, especially in the mirror matches with other Groudons. So I decided to try Lunala out, and I've been really liking it.
Right, and we saw Lunala put in a ton of work there. We saw the Psych Up in Game 1, which is really, we thought was ironic because Memphis last year, Psych Up Lunala.
Yeah, it's back.
And then able to just pull that game back on its own. But another thing I want to point out is, do you have 3 Z moves on your team?
I do.
I was gonna say I was thinking about it. We saw the Lunala Game 1, Game 2 Cortana, Tapu Lele Game 3. Where along the lines did you come up with that?
So the Cortana was just added on at first because I've always loved running the Z Tailwind moveset.
Right.
I ran it all 2018, and then Lele, it started out as kind of a Smeargle enabler. It's just a regular Scarf Lele set. That's what it started out as, because I wanted to be able to control terrain for Smeargle. And then eventually along the lines, I decided to try slower Lele. So mine's really low speed, but with Z Ally Switch, because Z Ally Switch will double your speed. So you still outspeed stuff like Coco